What up, my nerds? I'm Ricardo the Roleplay Gamer, and I like to party. Welcome to my Lusty Argonian Maid Skyrim Roleplay build. So listen, this is not a unique idea, of course. Other people have done the Lusty Argonian Maid before, but of all the builds I could find, they've all been what I like to call kitchen sink builds. You know, they just throw everything in there. It's like, hey, here's a build that can do any playstyle, and you go through the whole game like completionist. It's very much born from min-maxing, in my opinion. That's not fun, especially when you've got well over 1,000 hours in Skyrim. It's time to shake things up a scooch, you know? Give yourself some restrictions, you know, get into some really very specific, strange kind of gameplay. Stuff the game doesn't necessarily intend for you to do, but certainly stuff the game allows you to do. So with no further gilding the lily, and with no more ado, hey, I just rhymed there. So, listen, alright, here's my take on the Lusty Argonian Maid. So the premise of this build is to play as lifts her tail, the infamous Lusty Argonian Maid from the book of the same name. Now, I'm not sure whether she's meant to be an entirely fictional character just for the sake of the book, or if the book is based off of real-life events within the game, and the fact that I just referred to a character and a series of events within an entirely fictional video game universe as real, just forget about that for a moment. I mean, isn't that the ultimate roleplay? Really, I ask you, but don't worry about that for a minute. We're going to assume that she is a quote-unquote real character within the Elder Scrolls universe, and the book is based off of her. And how are we going to do that? I am so glad you asked. So the book lifts her tail as potentially quite a naive Argonian maid in the service of Cassius Curio, and it bombards you with a whole bunch of puns, you know, putting buns in the oven and like polishing his spear and this and that. It's wonderful stuff, bestseller sort of shit. But what if Lifts Her Tail wasn't as naive as the book portrays? What if she's perhaps a little bit of like what are those lizards that sneak into birds' nests and eat the eggs and then replace them with their own lizard eggs, and so the birds raise them? You know, that's some fucked up shit. I like the concept of that. She's like totally a predator, so she sneaks into rich men's houses. It doesn't matter if they're married or what. In fact, if they are married, all the better, because listen, bragging rights, am I right? More or less. So she sneaks into these, doesn't sneak in, but she's employed by these rich families. She cozies up to the man of the house, and before you know it, he's dead, penniless. That's it. And she's out of there. No one ever sees her again. She's gone, and she's living the lifestyle. So listen, you gotta do just that. You find all the Jarls, all the rich, pompous fuckers throughout Skyrim. You know the ones, you pass them on the street and they're like, look how big my dick is. Look how much money I have. You know the guys. There's at least like 50 fucking million of them in Whiterun alone. You go to their houses and you wreck up the place. You cozy up to them real good. You play them some songs. You serenade them real nice, real sweet like. You hiss in their ear real saucy and seductively. And then you take everything they got. Like, I mean everything. If it's not nailed down, you grab it. And if it is nailed down, you get a fucking nail puller, buddy, because it's yours now. And there you go. And that's the gameplay. None of this delving into dungeons. No, she's too... Lifts her tail. She's a classy lady. Or something. She doesn't go delving into dungeons. She doesn't kill bandits. None of this shit. Her target is the purest blood. The tippy top, baby. Up there, the toppest echelon of Skyrim. There you go. Let's have a look at skills. Just a quick reminder that this is a modded build, so the skills we're looking at here are part of Ordinator. We're going to start off with Sneak here. Of course, you got to take Sneak Mastery. We're going to go up to the right, Sneak Attack, Assassin's Blade, Backstab, because we want to be, you know, as savage as possible coming out of those sneak attacks with the dagger. Next, we're going to move on to Problem Solver, you know, so we can do a little more damage against targets with higher health, and Cloak and Dagger, just in case you want to drink some invisibility potions, though I haven't taken that into account, you know, within the build. We can guarantee some critical hits that way, if you're into that sort of thing. We're going to go for Infiltrator now, you know, just to lighten our steps, but it's more a means to an end so that we can get to right behind you, which makes us more effective at sneaking the closer we are to our target. And finally, Clean Escape, which allows us to get away more easily when guards are looking for us. I know it takes 8 seconds and we just gotta sit there and do nothing, but don't worry about it. Plenty of time, my sweet. Plenty of time. Moving on to lockpicking now, and this one's really straightforward. We don't need anything special from this, we just need to get in to things that are locked, you know. We're not a safe cracker, dude, but listen to me, just all the way up the right side of the tree there, up to Seen This Before, which is really going to make some high level locks super trivial, you know, once we level this baby up. Hey, you want to hear about Pickpocket? Yeah, right, come on over, we'll talk about it. So you probably want to put 2 points into Pickpocket Mastery. That's my mistake. Moving on to Cut Purse here, just increase our gold. Nothing wrong with that. You know, Brotherhood Cocktail, what did I tell you? Just slip some poison in his pocket. Perfect way to bump off a rich older man, know what I'm saying? Trickster, you know, is kind of the ultimate skill here. It allows us to pickpocket equipped weapons and quite literally the clothes off their back while they're sleeping. That's incredible. That's like what the Lusty Argonian Maid is all about. Next we'll take On the Run, which listen, that's just good business. After you pickpocket, 200% sneak, I'll take it, dude. And finally, Stalk the Prey is going to increase our chance to successfully pickpocket the longer we're standing behind these poor fools. And I know what you're saying, Ricardo the Roleplay Gamer, what are you doing? Again, I'm going to stand behind this poor bastard for like 10 seconds? Don't worry about it. Plenty of time, my sweet. Plenty of time. Alright, now we're getting to my personal favorite. This one is a lot of fun. So, you know, Speech Mastery. We gotta take it. We're gonna slip on over to Bribery, just in case the wife catches us. We gotta be able to bribe the guards. You know I'm right. Alright, let's move on to Performer, which is quite possibly the coolest skill in the entire thing, the mod, the mod that this is called, Ordinator. It's really dank. It allows us to actually, it gives us a power that we pull out of loot and we perform, and people are gonna flock around, they're gonna be like, hey man, that's dank, and they're gonna give us shit, they're gonna give us gold, maybe tomatoes. I've seen that happen too. But in any case, it really speaks to the performer, to the musician inside of me. I love it. Take that skill. Next we're going to move on to Serenade, which the name in and of itself is kinda, it's perfect for the Lusty Argonian Maid. So of course, you know, this upgrades our performing, so when we're performing to the opposite sex. Listen, you know, say more, they're gonna get real into it. Next, we're going to take Irresistible Dancer, and this is going to allow us to perform during combat and force some other folks to dance. But listen, it's really more of a means to an end, so we can get to Encore, which turns, you know, the once-a-day power that is performance into something that we can use as much as we want. Last, and let's be honest here, quite possibly least, is One-Handed. This one is about as simple as it gets. You just need to take all the dagger skills, which you have in Ordinator. See, you know, One-Handed Mastery. Go figure, who would have thought it? Bite marks, and just keep going up. That's it. You just up the damage of your dagger there. You can get bleeding, there's some dank interesting stuff, but this one's more just like by the by. You don't really need this, and part of me is saying, it just feels a little bit wrong, because you don't need to be a master of the dagger to use a dagger to kill someone. And I feel like if you want to stop at the other skills and say, nah, dog, my one-handed is fine, I'm cool with it, I would not judge you any step of the way. You do you, buddy. You do you. Alright, now on to equipment, which is usually my favorite part of the build, because I like dress-ups in games apparently. Listen, that was a joke. Don't make this weird. I just like armor and weapons. There's nothing wrong with that. So listen, it's pretty straightforward what we're doing here. We're actually going no armor, which, look, listen, it makes sense. Why would someone hire a maid in full plate or even leather armor? It's weird, man. Unless, like, Jarl Balgruuf has some sort of leather kink and he's knowingly hiring a dominatrix, which I'm not going to kink shame him, but I think we can all agree it's less than likely. So unless that's the case, we're just going to rock in there with what's called the bartender's clothes. Now, the issue with this is, as far as I can tell, it's not something that you can obtain in-game without using console commands. Now, because I like your face, you don't look like too much of a troublemaker, I'm going to give you the console command for that right now. But if you're on console, or if you, and I mean not using the console, I mean the gaming, if you're on like Xbone or Penis 4, don't worry about it. I'll say we can use the tavern clothes instead. It's not quite the look I was going for, but I feel like it's good enough. It's perhaps, it's a little more kind of revealing in a sense, a little more lusty, if you will. But in my mind, in my heart and my mind, it's barkeeper's clothes that I'm into. So there you go. In terms of weapons, look, just use whatever dagger you want. I would actually challenge you not to use anything too fancy. I feel like deep down inside of me, I don't want to go anything better than a steel dagger. I'm actually using the shiv because it seems like something you can conceal, because even though it's not totally weird for your maid to be carrying a dagger around Skyrim because it's a brutal place, I also feel like, especially with the more paranoid, like the Jarls or something, the guys who are a bit too big for their britches and are perhaps expecting the maid to off them in their sleep, they're going to be like, that Argonian has a dagger. Let's not hire her, because Argonians and plus dagger, and I'm probably a closet racist, but I'm not going to admit it, essentially is what I'm saying to you. So I figure with the shiv, you can tuck it away in there somewhere where you don't talk about at parties, and you can pull it out when you need to, off the guy, and then you're done. It's like, hey, I haven't even got a weapon. How could I have killed him? Don't worry about it, guard. Here's a sack of money, and I'm out of here. But look, I understand that the shiv is perhaps sometimes difficult to find, so look, just a steel dagger. Go and do it. I realize we've just spent like 50 million hours talking about why I've chosen a steel dagger. I don't apologize for anything. Finally, we're going to talk about the standing stones, which I admit is something I usually forget, just quite honestly, I just forget to play with them. Listen, I'm making a concerted effort to improve. Admitting your mistakes is a first step. So look, we're not going to delve into magic here, of course. You've seen the build. So I feel like the standing stone, the shadow stone, it's the closest thing we're ever going to get to magic. It's magic for the everyman, Go down to the corner store, Joe Blow grabs the shadow stone, and he's good to go. And he can go invisible for 60 seconds once every day, right? So we're going to use this as a no shit button. If you get caught, maybe by the wife, gee, I don't know what you're doing, whether you're killing the guy straight up or if you're just basting him for later, I don't want to know. What you do in your spare time is your business, buddy, no judgment. But if you get caught, boom, pop the shadow stone, get this shit out of there, move on to the next family. And that, as they say, is it. Bada boom, bada biff, bag yourself the princess. That's the build, the Lusty Argonian Maid. Hey guys, what do you think? What would you change? And tell me in the comments down below. Maybe, is there something I forgot? It happens. I'm only human, 4 of the 7 days of the week. But if you liked the video, give it a like. If you didn't, fight me in the comments down below. But for the moment, thank you very much for watching. Taste the game. Be excellent to each other, and I'll see you next time. Roleplay Gamer, out.